Hello, Hayley here, and welcome to the Awakening Collective podcast. Today, we are talking about one of my favorite subjects, and that is how to strengthen your intuition and your connection to spirit. And this is something that I teach on hugely because I believe that your intuition, your connection to that, and your connection to spirit is the thing that is going to allow you to navigate through your awakening, through your healing, and through your life with ease and grace and flow, really tuning into the things that will bring you abundance and herald abundance into your life. So, yeah, I really truly believe that everybody has intuition and everybody has connection to spirit. I don't believe it is a gift. Even though I do use that word sometimes because it's just what naturally comes out because it's what I was brought up with. I think it is an innate thing that we all have, that we all came here with, and it is our divine right to have that intuition and connection to spirit as beautiful light beings. So yeah, I don't think it's something that you don't have. I think it's something that can lay dormant for a very long time because of the fact that we are not taught what it is or how to use it, because most of our parents and our caregivers didn't know. Yeah, it's not something that is common knowledge. It was always looked at something that was strange or weird, or, going back even further, it became, associated with witches and sorcery and not really a divine innate wisdom and knowledge that we have in order to help guide us through our lives. So I truly believe that our intuition and that connection is like a navigation system. It's what guides us through. And it's what, like I said, will lead you through your healing and your awakening with more ease and flow. If you can tap into it, if you can start to listen to it and trust it, it will guide you so beautifully through everything that you need, to everything that you need, and where you need to be and the things that you need to do. So just before we continue, I'm going to get to a few ways that you can really start strengthening your connection in a moment. But I just want to sort of go through the difference between intuition and connection, and the way that in my teaching and in my community, the way I sort of compartmentalize, I suppose, these things. So intuition to me is that connection to that inner wisdom. It's those gut feelings. It's when you just know in your gut, in that solar plexus area, that something isn't right. It kind of makes you contract in. It makes you, it gives you that kind of face. Not quite sure about that. That's your intuition going, yeah, that's probably not in alignment with you right now. And then on the opposite side, it's stepping into that expansion. So, if something's right, if something's a yes, it helps your body kind of moves forward, your energy expands, your shoulders open up, you stand up taller when something feels more in alignment with you. And so that's more intuition. And that's sort of and your intuition, like what's in alignment for you in the morning might not be alignment for you in the afternoon, and vice versa. So if you're like, even just something as simple as cleaning, right? You're like, you have to do the vacuuming, but you're going, oh, and it's making your body sag. It doesn't mean that you don't need to do it right. That you're not going to do it or that you shouldn't do it. It just means, like, right now where you're at in your energy, it's probably not the right thing for you to be doing. But after lunch, you might go, I should really do the vacuuming, and your body goes, yes, like, yep, do it now. And it's those simple things and following your intuition in those simple things that is going to help strengthen it. We're going to go more into that in a minute, but it's as simple as that. It's what's in alignment with my energy right now and what's not. So that's that intuition. And then connection, I break into two parts. So there's connection to self. So our own energy, our emotions, where our healing's at, how our body's feeling and what our body needs. Aspects of self. For those of you who are not 100% sure on what aspects of self are, it is my belief that we have aspects of self who are living sort of parallel lives in different dimensions. And to me, it's those beings that are the closest to us. And I believe that our closest connection is to them. So when we start our journey, it's more than likely that those beings that you're sensing are those aspects of self because they're closer to you, they're more attached to your energy. And so it's easier to feel into them, if that makes sense. And the question that I'm going to pose to you is, where do you think source sits in all of this? Is source part of self, or is source outside of self? Or is it kind of a mixture of both? So, yeah, that's connection to us and to ourselves. So, our body, energy, emotions, our healing. And then there's the connection to that outside of self. So, outside guides, angels, earth. So, yeah, that connection in that way to those beings outside of self. So, that's how I kind of compartmentalize, or, yeah, like sort of the buckets that I separate it into. And before we talk about actually strengthening our intuition and connecting into our guides, into our angels, those beings outside of self, I think there are a few things that I just want to sort of touch on and address, and for you to think about actually before you start doing this, and things that sort of might be in the way of you gaining greater connection. And the first thing is, these are a few things that I've noticed and that you might be aware of within yourself, is when you sit in stillness and you want to connect into these things, where's your desperation level at? Are you trying to reach too hard for messages, reach too hard for a feeling, reach too hard to gain that connection? Like, where's your desperation level? Because we really need to be careful of where our energy is at when we connect. We want to be in stillness, we want to be calm, we want to be grounded. And the because a lot of the times when we're wanting to connect, it's because we want an answer for something, and so we're in a situation where we're desperate because something's really not working out, we're really struggling with something, and so that brings that desperation forward, and it's very hard for us to connect in that space. So desperation is something that we really want to be looking at. And also expectation. What is your expectation when you go to connect? Are you expecting to feel a certain way, to see something? Are you expecting a certain way of getting your communication? Like, do you know what your communication is? Are you a seer? Do you know? Do you hear? Do you feel? And I believe that we have all of those things. It's just that some are a little bit more heightened, than others. And it's just a matter of sort of practice and doing a little bit more and allowing ourselves to expand in those other areas. But just be aware of your expectation when you're going in. What are you expecting the answer to be? Sometimes we have preconceived ideas of what we believe the answer should be, how we're getting those messages, who it actually is that we're connecting to. So just be aware of that too. The other thing that I would love to bring your awareness to is hierarchy. We need to sort of stop living in the belief that our guides and angels know more than us and know better than us. We are all beings. We are all full of wisdom. We are all full of so much knowledge and access to knowledge, um, as beings, that we need to realize that we are all the same. And maybe not on a human level, maybe we don't quite have it, but on an energetic light being level, we all have a lot of wisdom and a lot of information. And if you are sitting in too much hierarchy with your guides and putting way too much emphasis on the fact that they have all of the answers for you, they know better than you, they know more than you could get yourself into a little bit of trouble. And this ties in with discernment. And this is my next thing, just making sure that you have discernment when you're going to connect, because not all beings are nice. And there are some nefarious and cheeky beings out there who are here who like causing trouble. And hierarchy, you need to be very careful with this, because there are light beings who present as angelics, and they will tell you to do things that aren't in alignment, that aren't right. And so you need to, when you're in hierarchy, it's very easy when these light beings come in who are on the more nefarious side, for you to go, oh wow, and oh my god, you're so amazing, you're so beautiful, and get this hierarchy happening. And if you don't have discernment in that moment, if you're not grounded and connected and feeling into what's going on, and not using that discernment, you're going to be connecting into things that aren't necessarily 100% right. So making sure that you're not in desperation, that you're watching your expectations, that you are not sitting in hierarchy, and that you are really using your discernment. and really noticing and starting to understand the way that messages come in. And if they are pushy and forceful, make you feel uncomfortable, then take note of that. Because yeah, like I said, not everyone out there has your best interests at heart. But we also do need to be aware though as well that there are certain galactic beings who are very what's the word, forthright, that are very straight and to the point. Like they don't, there are some beings out there in galactics who are very loving and very full of light and very empathetic and have more of that emotional light tone. But there are those beings who are very strict and straight and to the point, and this is how it is. And so we do need to be aware of that too, but you will feel it in your gut, that discernment. And this is where your intuition comes in of, is this making me contract? Is this information coming through and making me feel a little bit, hang on a minute? Or is it allowing me to feel expansion? So they're just some things to be aware of as you move into starting to really strengthen your intuition and connect to other beings. So what I would love to say is that if you are new, so in all of this stuff, is to really start working on your own energy field and connection to yourself, making sure that you're really aware of what your own energy feels like and how it presents to you, how really learning to sit in your emotions and connecting to your own emotions, your own inner wisdom and your higher self, your own and your future self, like things that are a little bit closer to home, so that you're really getting to know yourself as an energetic being first. That's going to help you with the hierarchy, with the discernment as you start to really bring in other beings. And I'm not saying, only do that for 5 years before you start, trying to talk to, your guides and things like that. But make sure you're doing that at the same time so that you are aware. Like, even if all it is that before you sit to connect to a guide, you sit and feel into your own energy first. How's it feeling today? Am I feeling a bit wonky? Am I grounded down? Do I feel safe and secure? Before then you allow others into your field. So yeah, just really getting to know your own energy and yourself as a light being, as well as connecting to others. So a few things that I've got today to help you to start really connecting in. And the first thing is to just really stop just focusing on the third eye. All we're told is when we're connecting, third eye, open your third eye, do this with your third eye. But all your chakras relate to different dimensional frequencies, and you use all of these when you communicate. So obviously, your crown chakra needs to be activated and open to allow flow from source, from your higher self, from your guides. All those chakras are up the top there. So those need to have a channel to come through. So if you're not also working on that crown chakra, nothing's going to come through. The third eye is important because it's how we receive information. It's the sound, it's the tone, it's those waves that come in, no matter how you receive information, whether you see, feel, hear, know. So yes, that is very important. But our throat chakra is also important because we need to be able to translate and communicate that, even if it's just for ourselves. Our heart chakra is very important because we need to be open to that information, receiving with love, accepting with love. We also need that solar plexus because it's where our trust is, our trust in ourselves, our trust in spirit, our trust in source, where our personal power is, where our confidence in ourselves to translate messages lies. So all of these pathways are very, very important. So if you're just work, and I hear it so many times, I've been working on my third eye, I've been opening my third eye and still I'm not feeling anything. It's because it's not the only thing you use to translate. So making sure that you're opening, activating all of your frequencies, all of those chakras. And like I said, all of these chakras relate and resonate on different dimensional frequencies, and our guides are parts of these different dimensional frequencies. So your angelic guides and your galactic guides and your elemental guides all resonate on different frequencies. One up the top chakras, 6th, 7th chakras, some in the fourth dimensional frequencies, in that solar plexus frequency, and elementals are like sacral chakra in those second dimensional frequencies. So if you're just working on the third eye, you're missing out expanding your dimensional frequencies where other beings resonate. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, yes, work on your third eye, but you should be working on all of them. So opening up all those, doing a meditation where you're opening, activating, aligning all of your chakras is better than just working on your third eye. So the other thing with strengthening your connection to spirit and your guides is to talk to them when you're in a good mood, not just when you're desperate. So the part of the biggest reason is because when we're having something going on in our life that we really want guidance on, when when there's something maybe traumatic going on, when we're in a real hard situation, again, you're in that desperation. And so it can be very hard to get a clear link and a clear message. And yeah, so you're in that desperation, but also sometimes you're in fight or flight. And when your body goes into fight or flight and your nervous system goes all wonky, that can also be very hard for you to receive information and block that information. So we want to make sure that when we're connecting to spirit, that we're also doing it on days when we feel amazing, that we just make it part of our everyday life. Hey guys, what's going on today? Pull some cards and see where the week's headed, or, what can I embody today to help me? What can I, is there anything I can let go of this week? Pull some cards on that, or just sit in stillness around that, journal around that, however it is that you like to communicate, so that your guides and you and your guides, are creating and gaining a great relationship. If you think of on a human level, with the friends that you are very close to, you don't only talk to each other when you're having a crisis. You ring each other to say, oh my God, this awesome thing happened today. Or, hey, what are you doing on the weekend? Let's catch up. It's not just, I'm in desperation, I need your advice. And so we want to create that same relationship with our guides. So talking to them every day in different ways, using different ways of communicating, like I said, either using, you can just sit in stillness, or you can use your oracle cards, tarot cards, you can use pendulums, walk about in nature, connecting to elementals and the trees and the earth. All of this is really going to help with opening up that pathway. And then the last thing is just make sure you're taking action when you do get messages. One of the biggest things that is going to stop you, one of the biggest breakdowns in communication, is the fact that we do not act upon our intuition and the messages that we receive from spirit. And eventually they're going to stop talking to you. They're going to stop saying anything because you haven't done the thing that they've asked you to do. You can't, some things have, not everything, but most of things that are going on in our life have a divine order. And if you keep being asked to look after your physical body, and your physical body really needs to be in a better state before you can herald in the things that you are wanting to, then nothing else is going to happen. And so they're going to not necessarily stop communicating, but you're not going to get any more downloads or any more messages if you haven't taken action on the first thing. So I really want you to think back and go, okay, what was the last intuitive hit or message that I got to do something, to take action on something that I haven't done? And that could be around your healing. It could be around drinking more water. It could be walking in nature. It could be cleaning out a room in the house that's like really blocking energy flow in the house that you just keep avoiding. What are those things that you've been asked to do that you're not doing? Because taking action on those intuitive hits and messages is going to help strengthen the connection, the trust, and the relationship between you and your guides. So there are a few things that you can be doing right now to help with that. If you would like more on intuition and connection, you can go check out the Awakening Collective membership that is open at the moment. We do a lot on this in there because I truly believe that your intuition and connecting to your guides is the key that will help you to move through your awakening and manifest all the things that you want and walk through your life with flow and ease. So that we talk a lot about that in there, and it's something that intuitive development is something that we really work on. But I also have a masterclass coming up in a few weeks' time, also around intuition, strengthening your intuition. So keep an ear and an eye out for that too. And yeah, have an amazing week, you guys, and I will see you next time. Bye.